As we gather, may your spirit work within us. As we gather, may we glorify your name, knowing well that as our hearts begin to worship, we'll be blessed because we can. We'll be blessed because we can.
As we gather, may your spirit work within us. As we gather, may we glorify your name.
I heard you mention that you have read the first book, and you're looking forward to the second book. You sound as if you have already read the second book. Because what I think from the first book about career dynamics myself is that when you go to an office and you find a person who is so loyal to you, they are loyal to you because they're in their own career. You may also find people who are sick, depression, and other sicknesses. Why? Because they're in their own career. Career dynamic expires out of this. The next point that you're answering today, it touched me when I realized that so many of us who are businessmen like me go to Tawara, you see many people are building, many people have got hardware, and then you say, I open a hardware. And then you see what they say, open the account. At the end of the day, you are gone. The main character in that book survived that kind of effect. But I don't want to tell you more, you explore it and discover it yourself. Now, I'd like to invite our host for the day to tell us, while we are here, to tell us about this book, about another book, and to enlighten us so that we know exactly what made him like those two books. And I also request him further to welcome his family, which is also represented here, and introduce his family to us. He will take us through that program up to where I will invite the guests and the chief guests. When I do this, the first guest.
God is good all the time. As you have heard, Mwangi Wanjumbi is the name. And without much ado, I want to invite my family pastors before I go to the next step. Closest to me is our firstborn daughter. She's called Mwangi, but she acquired another name not very long ago. Most of you know that. And the other name, alibadilika kwa jina yangu, naitwa Nyaga. Kwa hivyo ni Wajiko Mwangi Nyaga. Sinikoje? Haya. Na Wajiko Mwangi is a lawyer by profession, actually a prosecutor. Ukienda pale kwa kotini, sikambulia. Haya. Next. But let me say hi to the guys.
Hi, everyone. Hi. But it's a pleasure to meet you all, and I hope that you have us support our dad. We're very proud of him, and we pray that the journey continues to be successful.
Next is our second one daughter, and I would like her to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Mwangi, second one. Yes, I'm not sure if I play different functions, but I'm a technical person.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mwangi the last one. Yes, and what I do marketer.
And finally, the lady of the house. Let's talk about it.
And what I do, as an hustler, like by profession, I'm an accountant. And it's good that you have come and I thank God for this journey. I'm married, I'm a mother of four. One is not here. He was presenting a paper, he will be coming later. And wife, one husband. Mwangi Wanjumbi.
Asante. Haya, chini kwanza. I used to harass them when we were in secondary school. And I was harassing them to do something we call editing of my articles. But as I was harassing them to edit my articles, asking them whether are they making sense, is the English flowing properly? I was doing something that not many could have expected. I was trying to make them internalize what I was telling them about. And I thank God. They internalized and they are where they are and they do what they do. And he was supporting the dad when he needed support most, especially when he started writing. Now, many of you will be wondering how I started writing and why I started writing. But writing is something that just happened naturally to me. I was never asked by anybody to write. But when I was in school, I realized school for the second time, because I went to school later in life. Earlier on, there's knowledge that I felt that I had not acquired during the time that I was growing up. But as I matured, I realized there are things that I do not know, and I went back to school. When I went back to school, along the way, I realized I can write very well, the way other people do not write. And in the process, writing just happened naturally. And as it happened, I was also writing. I was also training. Out of now the knowledge that I acquired later in life, I was also doing consulting. And the three involved dispensing knowledge through writing, through training, and consulting. And along the way, I started seeing problems happening around me and in the world around us. And one of the problems that I saw sometimes in 2006 is my friend here. My friend here, they developed a fund. And when they developed a fund, that was to help the youth. I saw a lot of write-ups about what is going to happen with the fund. And I wrote a concept. And I took it to them. And I think they liked it because they applied. They implemented everything that they saw. And I think you can confirm that later on. They implemented, maybe they added other things. But my ideas were used very well for a good purpose. That is the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. And I realized, I can solve problems. And later on, as I trained in organizations, I realized that more than 80% of people who are employed, they are happy with what they do. They are dispassionate. They are only connected with what they do, with the workplace because of what they get. But am I wrong? That is more than 80%. And I got shocked and I decided to research on that area. As I was researching on that area, I realized that even more than 50% of our graduates are unemployed. And I got shocked again. And I decided even to go to the Ministry of Education and asked them whether they are aware of those issues. And I didn't get the answers that I was expecting from the ministry. And I also decided to go to a number of universities, again, to see what they know and what they are doing about the disempowerment that is happening in the society. And that was in 2014. Remember, the Youth Enterprise Development Plan was 2006. So 2014, I became now disturbed by this problem of disempowerment. And I saw a huge gap of disempowerment in our country, in organizations, in homes. And I decided to sit down, and eventually I wrote this concept called career dynamics in the 21st century. It came out in March 2015, and people started reading it. They started giving me feedback, and I realized, oh, could they have done a nice thing? Eventually, an article was written in the Nation of 23rd May 2015, and many people called me to get a copy of the book. And one of them was from KICD, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. Eventually, this book was approved to be read in schools in June 2016. And against all my expectations, the new curriculum borrows ideas from this book. Remember 2006, and now 2015, another solution provided for the benefit of this country. And somebody was to come here actually from KICD to confirm that, but he happens to be out of town and he couldn't come. Now, why or what did I see that was a gap that was preventing people from doing as expected of them? To the tune of more than 80% of people employed, people are being unhappy with what? I noticed one thing, and that borrows the title of this book. It gives the title of this book. I noticed that this country, this education system is driven by 20th century dynamics. What does that mean? We are physically in the 21st century, but mentally in the 20th century. And I can prove that. Because even now, we talk about Sodeni vijana, wongeze pia bidii, baada ya kusoma, mtapata kazi nzuri sana. Si ni kweli? Wapi kazi? Wapi kazi iko? Watu wengi hawana kazi. Because the education system aligns to 20th century thinking when we are in the 21st century thinking. Just tell your neighbor this simple thing. The book of Hosea over 6 says, my people are perishing for lack of knowledge. And one of the things that people may not know, or many people do not know, is the world has evolved or translated through 5 eras. And these are the things now I brought out through this concept. How the world has evolved through what we call hunter-gatherer era, then agricultural era, then industrial era, then information knowledge era. So many vijana wongeze pia bidii na mwisho wa kusoma utapata kazi nzuri sana. That is information knowledge era of the 20th century. Now, the world now has transited to what is called talent era. Talent, tarada. Nasikia tarada. And I'm happy to say this. The new curriculum now is trying to align the education system with our inborn abilities. So those who are at the 3 and below may not go through the challenges that others are going through today, because you'll be aligned to their natural abilities. Now, when this came out in 2015, there are people who read that they kept asking me many questions. And particularly, they kept asking me, where is the next series? Where is the next series? And I found myself thinking about this other concept called living beyond survival. But I said, I'm not going to release it until after 3 years and until after I have seen enough people have benefited from the first concept. So far, I released this one just a month ago, and by the time I released it, 3,500 copies of the first one were already in circulation all over this country. And I go over the country, talking to students, talking to teachers, talking to principals of secondary schools, talking to parents. I'm invited in churches, again, just to talk about the principles here. Now, since this one came out, so many people have benefited from what I've written. I would have loved to display as many people as I could to say what they have or how they have benefited from these principles advocated here. But time will not allow, and also all of them cannot be available. But along the way, I know one or two will volunteer or will say how they have benefited from it as we go on. Now, this one, let me tell you how people have benefited. Career dilemmas are no more for those who have read this. Two, those who have made the wrong choices and they're out of school, there are many of them who are aligning themselves. In schools, and this is feedback that I have been given, performance of those students who read this goes up, and they acquire strategic direction. They are able to make choices along the 5 stages that I determined that people are supposed to make choices as they go through the empowerment process. That is a growth process. Then at Form 2, at Form 4, at secondary university, and at the university. The ones who did this have been able to make the right choices, and they are on the path towards unleashing their full potential. Now, having done that, the ones again who are out of school have been asking, how do we go to the next level? Because this one helps people to make choices and align themselves and realign themselves with their natural abilities. And this one now, the one we are launching today, takes people to the next level. How does it take you to the next level? You have aligned yourself with your natural abilities. You are now got the structure of success in your life through making the right choices or realigning to your natural orientations. And then, how do you conduct yourself once you are now ready? It's like I take you up to the airport and you are ready to leave and fly out of the country and fly high and fly safely. So how do you fly safely? I now empower you with what we call high order skills. High order skills you find skills like leadership. How to lead yourself into greatness. How to lead others into greatness. How to deal with change, because change must happen. How to deal with, how to ensure that you continue succeeding sustainably. Again, you get it from here. It has got 4 chapters, and each chapter is an interesting read, and each chapter has got a purpose. And another chapter that is very crucial is how to brand yourself as you venture into greatness, and many other things. And it has been out for the last 1 month. So far, more than 100 copies have been out of circulation, are now in circulation, and have started getting very, very positive feedback. Above all, has been recommended by two serious authorities. One is the Vice Chancellor, Management University of Africa. The other one is the CEO of Kenya Institute of Management. If this was not serious, could these people touch it? Could they touch it? Even with a prayer vote, they wouldn't touch it. But now, I have the benefit of telling you that it has been recommended for you to read by these two very serious authorities. And I want to believe that those who read will continue getting towards greatness, just like it has been happening through this other one called career dynamics in the 21st century. In other words, these two personal strategic guides are all that any one of us will need to understand how and to venture into greatness on a step-by-step basis. Because great individuals create great teams, and great teams create great organizations, and great organizations create a great country. And in this great country, everybody will be getting the deserving rewards. Is that not what is desired by all?
If I could have one desire before my life is through, even in my darkest night, my light would shine for you. If I could stop the hands of time, or make a wish come true, I would tell my heart to burn with fire for no one else but you. This is my one desire. You are my saving grace, anchor of my soul. And in a world that's turned upside down,